Today, we are going to talk about a book that has changed the financial thinking of millions of people. This book is Rich Dad, Poor Dad, written by Robert Kiyosaki. This book begins with the story of two fathers. Robert had two dads, one poor dad who was highly educated, had a PhD, and one rich dad who couldn't even complete 8th grade. Poor Dad was a government employee and earned a good salary, but always remained in financial problems. Rich Dad had taken less formal education, but became one of the richest men in Hawaii. This book is about the lessons that Robert received from his rich dad. Let's understand the most important points of this book. The first and biggest lesson: rich people don't work for money. When Robert was just 9 years old, his rich dad taught him and his friend Mike the first lesson. He hired both children to work in his store for just 10 cents per hour. This was very little money, and Robert got frustrated. When he talked about quitting, Rich Dad explained to him that this is the real world. Most people get trapped between fear and greed. The fear of not having money forces them to go to work, and when they get their salary, greed motivates them to spend all the money. Rich Dad explained that rich people make money work for them. They build assets that generate income for them. Poor and middle-class people just keep working for money. He made Robert and Mike work without pay so they could learn that there are other ways to become rich besides money. Both children together started a comic book library where children could read comics for 10 cents. This was their first business that was making money for them even when they weren't present there. Second important lesson: why financial literacy is necessary. Ray Kroc, who built McDonald's, once asked MBA students, "What business am I in?" Everyone said, "The hamburger business." But Ray said, "No, I'm in the real estate business." This is a very powerful insight. McDonald's real strength is in its real estate holdings. The land under every franchise belongs to McDonald's. Your profession and your business are different things. You can be a banker, but you should also have your own business, your asset column. Rich Dad said, keep your daytime job, but start building your business. Your asset column is things like real estate that generates rent, stocks and bonds, businesses that can run without your presence, intellectual property like music, books, patents, anything that has value, produces income, or appreciates. The middle class looks for a solution to their financial problems by thinking they'll get a higher salary. But the real solution is to strengthen your asset column. Robert made an important point. Rich people buy luxuries last. First, they buy assets. Then they buy luxuries with the income that comes from those assets. Poor and middle class buy luxuries first, on credit, and then get stuck in their payments. Fourth lesson: history of taxes and power of corporations. Rich Dad explained that originally there were no taxes in England and America. Taxes were introduced with the Robin Hood theory: take from the rich and give to the poor. But what happened was that when the government got addicted to money, they started imposing taxes on the middle class and then on poor people too. Rich people protected themselves by using corporations. A corporation is a legal entity that gives rich people two major advantages. Tax advantages: a corporation first earns, then spends, then pays tax on what's left. But an employee first earns, pays tax, then spends what's left. Legal protection: a corporation protects your personal assets from lawsuits. Financial IQ is made up of 4 main technical skills: accounting, ability to read numbers; investing, science of making money from money; understanding markets, understanding supply and demand; law, knowledge of tax and legal advantages. These skills together make you a financial genius. That's why rich people keep getting richer and poor people remain poor. Fifth lesson: rich people invent money. In the real world, it's often not the smart people, but the bold people who move ahead. Financial intelligence means having more options. Robert shared his journey of how he invested in the depressed real estate market in Phoenix, Arizona in the 1990s. When everyone was saying the market was bad, he saw opportunities. He bought a house for $20,000 instead of $75,000 from a bankruptcy attorney. Then he sold it for $60,000 with no money down. In just a few hours of work, he created a $40,000 note that was giving him 10% interest. This is inventing money. It's not illegal, it's financial intelligence. Robert explained that there are two types of investors. Type 1, those who buy packaged investments, mutual funds, stocks, bonds. This is easy, but returns are low. Type 2, those who create their own investments. This is more complicated, but returns can be much higher. To develop financial genius, 3 main skills are needed: finding the opportunity that others miss, raising money, not just depending on the bank, organizing smart people. Robert gave examples of his real estate investments where he started with small amounts and made big returns. He also invested in stocks where he would quickly get in and get out, pull out his principal, and keep the rest as a free asset. The most important thing is that opportunities are everywhere, but most people can't see them because they haven't been financially educated. As Rich Dad said, there is gold everywhere. Most people are not trained to see it. 6th lesson: work to learn, not for money. This was Robert's favorite lesson. He explained that when he graduated from Merchant Marine Academy, he got a good job with Standard Oil, but 6 months later he resigned and went to the Marine Corps to learn flying. His educated dad was shocked, but Rich Dad congratulated him because Robert was learning a new skill. Then Robert took a sales job at Xerox. Why? Because he was shy and afraid of selling. He needed to learn this skill. When he consistently started coming in the top 5 salespeople, then he quit that job too. Rich Dad's advice was, you want to know a little about a lot. Specialization is fine if you want to remain an employee, but if you want to go into the B or I quadrant, you need to know a little bit about all aspects of business. The 3 most important skills in the world are cash flow management, systems management, and people management. Above all these is the skill of sales and marketing. Communication skills, writing, speaking, negotiating, these are crucial for success in life. Robert explained that around the world, he sees ex-school teachers earning hundreds of thousands of dollars because they learned sales and marketing along with teaching. If you're struggling financially, it's often a case of lack of giving and receiving. Rich Dad was generous. He gave money and knowledge both. Poor Dad always said, when I have extra money, I'll give, but there was never any extra money. Rich Dad's principle was, if you want something, first give what you want. If you want money, first give money. If you want sales, help someone else sell something. 7th important learning: overcoming obstacles. 5 main obstacles come in the path to financial freedom. First obstacle: fear. Everyone is afraid of losing money. The difference between rich and poor is not who is afraid, but how they handle that fear. Rich Dad said, think like Texans. When they win big, and when they lose spectacularly. Turn failure into inspiration. Fran Tarkenton, famous NFL quarterback, said winning means being unafraid to lose. Robert explained that while learning to ride a bike, he fell. Every person who plays golf loses a ball sometime. Every person who falls in love experiences heartbreak. Every person who becomes rich loses money. The real point is, failure inspires winners. Failure defeats losers. Most people struggle financially because the pain of losing money is greater than the joy of being rich. Second obstacle: cynicism. There's a Chicken Little sitting inside all of us who keeps saying, the sky is falling. Doubts and fears paralyze us. I'm not smart enough. I'm not good enough. What if I lose? What if things don't work? Peter Lynch, famous investor, called these warnings noise. Cynics criticize, winners analyze. Robert told the story of his friend Richard, who bought a condo in Phoenix for $42,000, but then backed out because his neighbor said it was a bad deal. That neighbor himself never invested. A few years later, that same condo was worth $95,000. Doubt is expensive. Cynicism blinds. Analysis opens eyes. Third obstacle: laziness. Busy people are often the most lazy. They stay so busy that they avoid important things. Robert explained that "I can't afford it" is a lie. Our spirit knows we can do anything. Rich Dad had banned "I can't afford it." Instead, he would say, "How can I afford it?" "I can't afford it" shuts down your brain. "How can I afford it" puts your brain to work. The way to cure laziness is a little greed. What's in it for me? This is healthy greed that motivates us to move forward. Fourth obstacle, bad habits. Habits control our lives. The biggest bad habit is paying yourself last. George Clayson's famous book, The Richest Man in Babylon, says, "Pay yourself first." But most people do this: earn, pay taxes, pay bills, save if anything is left. Rich people do this: earn, pay themselves, invest in asset column, pay taxes, pay bills. Robert explained that he always paid himself first, even if money fell short for bills. Why? Because this pressure forced him to find new ways to make money. Fifth obstacle, arrogance. Arrogance is trying to hide ignorance. When people say "I know," it often means "I don't know, but I don't want to admit it." Robert says, "What I know makes me money. What I don't know loses me money." Whenever you're ignorant in a subject, find an expert or read a book. Keep learning always. Eighth key point, getting started. Robert gave 10 practical steps to become financially free. Step 1. Find a big reason, greater than reality. You need a strong emotional reason. Robert's don't wants were he didn't want to become like his dad who worked all his life. His wants were to travel at a young age, to be free. Without a strong reason, nothing is easy. Step 2. Make choices daily. Every day, with every dollar, we choose to become rich, poor, or middle class. Invest in education, attend seminars, read books, listen to CDs. Robert took a $385 real estate course in 1973. That course made him millions. Step 3. Choose friends carefully. Love your financially struggling friends, but don't listen to their Chicken Little advice. Learn from rich friends. Insider trading is illegal, but insider information is legal. Rich friends tell about the next boom. Step 4. Master one formula, then learn new. Robert learned foreclosure buying, then stocks, then derivatives. Every new formula gives new possibilities. In the information age, what you know becomes old. What's important is how fast you learn. Step 5. Pay yourself first. This is the most difficult step, but also the most powerful. Without self-discipline, no one can become rich. Keep your asset column strong. The dollar that goes into it becomes your employee who works 24/7. Step 6. Pay your brokers well. Good professionals make money for you. Real estate broker, stockbroker, attorney, accountant. Pay them well. Avoid discount brokers. Good advice is priceless. Step 7. Be an Indian giver. The sophisticated investor asks, how fast will my money come back, and what will I get for free? Robert gave an example. He bought a $50,000 condo. Income came from rent. In 3 years, the principal came back. Then that condo sold for $156,000. Now that money went into a new investment that's giving $1,000 every month. This is ROI, return on investment. Step 8. Buy luxuries with assets. Robert loves his luxuries but doesn't buy them on credit. First, he builds the asset column, then buys luxuries with the income coming from it. When he wanted a Porsche, instead of taking a loan, he bought an asset from whose income he bought the Porsche. Step 9. Choose heroes. Robert's heroes were Warren Buffett, Donald Trump, Peter Lynch. When he invests, he thinks, how would Warren Buffett do this? Heroes inspire us and help make things look easy. Step 10. Teach and receive. If you want something, first give what you want.
This is a universal principle. Robert teaches, that's why he learns more. The more you teach, the more you learn. Ninth important point. Understand the cash flow quadrant. This is perhaps the most important concept. The cash flow quadrant is 4 categories of people based on where their income comes from. E, employee, people who do jobs. They want security, they want benefits. They say, I need a safe, secure job. S, self-employed or small business, doctors, lawyers, consultants who work for themselves. They are perfectionists. They say, if you want it done right, do it yourself. The problem is, if they don't work, there's no income. B, big business owner, those who have 500-plus employees. They build systems. Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg, they're all in the B quadrant. They say, I hire smart people who know more than me. I, investor, those who make money from money. Warren Buffett is the perfect example. They say, my money works for me. Robert's poor dad was in the E quadrant. Rich dad was in the B and I quadrants. School trains us for the E or S quadrant. For financial freedom, you have to go into the B or I quadrant. In the E and S quadrant, you work for money. In the B and I quadrant, money works for you. Changing quadrants is not easy. It's not just a skill change, it's a complete mindset change. You have to be prepared mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. 10th and final important learning. 3 types of income. In the world of accounting, there are 3 types of income. Ordinary earned income, this is income you earn by doing a job. This has the highest tax, up to 50%. Portfolio income, income from stocks, bonds, mutual funds. This has less tax. And passive income, income from real estate, royalties, businesses that comes automatically. This has the least tax. Rich Dad's secret was convert earned income to passive or portfolio income as quickly as possible. The government takes the most tax on earned income, the least on passive income. This is the reason Bill Gates is so rich. His income is portfolio income, not earned income. Robert and Kim are financially free because their passive income is more than their expenses. They work because they want to, not out of compulsion. The most important message of the book. Robert repeatedly says this is not just about making money, it's about freedom. School teaches us for jobs, to stay safe, to avoid mistakes, but in the real world we learn from mistakes. Rich Dad's philosophy was A students often work for C students, and B students work for the government. D students live in big buildings and donate to everyone. Why? Because school teaches academic intelligence but doesn't teach financial intelligence. Financial intelligence includes 4 things: accounting, the language of numbers; investing, creativity; understanding markets, supply and demand; and law, tax advantages and protection. When you combine all 4, you become financially powerful. Robert's simple formula is rich people buy assets, poor people just have expenses, middle class buy liabilities thinking they're assets.
Taking action is necessary. The most important thing, you have to take action. Nothing will happen just by reading. Robert says, give yourself the power of choice. With every dollar you choose to become rich, poor, or middle class. Play the cash flow game. This game is specially designed to teach financial intelligence. By playing the game, you can make mistakes with play money before making mistakes in real life. Attend classes, go to seminars, make rich friends, find mentors, read books. But most important, start building your asset column from today. Even if you start small, start. Rich Dad always said, the size of your success is measured by the strength of your desire, the size of your dream, and how you handle disappointment along the way. Robert's journey was not easy. He lost money many times, failed many times, but he never gave up. Because, as Robert Frost said in his famous poem, The Road Not Taken, "Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference." This book is about that less traveled road, the road to financial freedom. This road is not easy, but it's worthwhile. So now the question is, which road will you choose? The safe road of E and S, or the adventurous road of B and I? The choice is yours. The time is yours. Life is yours. Robert's final message is, take action. Your future is created by what you do today, not tomorrow. So start from today. Take small steps. Start your financial education. Start building assets. Remember, this is a journey, not a destination. The path is the goal, and this journey begins when you take the first step. So take your first step today. Start your journey to financial freedom. Because, as Rich Dad said, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. This is the complete summary of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. This book is not just about money. It's about freedom, choices, and living your life on your own terms. I hope you found this summary helpful and you will apply these lessons in your life. Thank you.